memories always clean. Since they've become the fabric of your life, the difference comes with every move that's right. There's a chance that you will fight with all that's in your might, as life will falter with delight. Though there's not much at stake, we learn to praise, 'cause lifetimes such as these never come twice in time. We learn to bid a fond farewell. Love's ready on any given day. It's called for when you pray. At times when there's collision with a lie, we wallow in a distant foreign land. The accounts will be first hand. Fire-breathing dragons try to cover what was planned. We'll gather by the lake. Now what's your take on lifetimes such as these? They don't come twice, but now no need for goodbyes nor farewells. Try to cover what was planned. We'll gather by the lake. Now what's your take on lifetimes such as these? They don't come twice, but now no need for goodbyes nor farewells.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm very excited tonight because I have a fantastic guest here. Great friend. We've been knowing each other since the early 80s. And we're only 24, so no, I'm just kidding. And that's David Linx, Belgian French vocalist. The video you saw is a video of a recent recording. We did our album entitled From One Language to Another, where David sings in 5 languages. And he's an amazing, incredible, I wouldn't call him a vocalist, he is really a musician. He knows so much about music, about harmony, composing, really amazing, and a wonderful personality. And he is with me on Skype, so I'm going to open the Skype window. And there he is, David from Paris. How long have you been living in Paris?
I first came to live in the early 80s. I was living with Kenny Clark, the drummer. And then I lived in Holland, Belgium. Then I went back to Brussels, and I started living here for the last 21 years.
21 years. And how's the situation now? Is it getting better, hopefully?
Better.
Yeah. We have to stay positive, right? But we're going to be fine.
I was very amazed. I mean, it's a vacation over here. I think it's holiday, so Paris is completely empty.
Yeah.
Because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Everything's gone. So it's quite impressive.
Same here in Amsterdam. Amsterdam without tourism, that's it's actually an experience. Yeah, cool. So, man, there's so much to talk about because you're such an amazing musician, vocalist, and you have such an amazing life story. So, just for those of you who know, you were born in Belgium, right? And you're as a native, huh? Brussels, yeah, as a native Flemish speaker, actually, Flemish and French.
Hôpital Français.
Yeah.
I grew up in basically 2 or 3 languages.
Yeah. And your father was Elias Gisteling, who was a great musician, but he was also the founder of the very famous Jazz Middelheim Festival in Antwerp, right? Which still exists after all these years, and it's become like an iconic jazz festival.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So we met, you and I, in the early 80s, and I know we met at that time. You were only playing drums, and we met at the house of Jerry van Rooyen, who was an amazing Dutch composer, arranger. We were very young, and in my case, he was coaching me. He heard my. I came from a classical background. I wanted to play jazz. I was totally into harmony and started to explore all this music and harmony. And there was no really like jazz education. And via I got in touch with him, and this man did so many great things for me and learned me so much about harmony and all of that. But then you were there as well, and this was in Laren in Holland, in the Netherlands, close to Hilversum. And why were you there? And I remember then you told me you played drums.
Yes, I always sang. I always wanted to be singing since I was 5 or 6. But I did drums, piano, flute, everything.
Yeah.
And, so I studied for everything except for the voice. Because I sang. So I sang with the records of Ella Fitzgerald, all that. But to talk about Jerry, he came to conduct the radio orchestra in 78 to 79 Jazz Middelheim. And my father founded Jazz Middelheim in 1969. And he came from a working class family, so he didn't want us to miss out on anything. So from the point he founded Jazz Middelheim in 1969, he he took us. I mean, I was 4 years old. My sister was not even born or barely born. My brother was 2 years old. So he took us even till 4 o'clock in the morning. We saw everything.
Yeah.
So in '78, Jerry came to arrange and conduct with the radio orchestra, and he liked, he worked with Quincy Jones and Michel Legrand in the '60s. He liked the American show also. So at the end of the show, he wanted me to come on stage and conduct the band. I was a kid,
Yeah.
and we connected very strong. So I spent all my vacations in Hilversum, Laren, and what he did is he was always late with the arrangements, and way back there were no computers, so he had to really compose and write the scores, and all night long you could hear the taxis come by the house every time he finished the piece, so they drove to the copies. So what he did is that he also had a legendary radio program called Easy Listening with Tosca van Hoogduin.
Tosca Hoogduin, yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, and he let me make the program. So because it was always, I mean, we watched television till 10 o'clock in the evening. Then he started arranging. He was, so he was always working against time. So I learned a lot because he let me make the radio programs. So he took me to the studio and I put the records on, and so I listened to a lot of music when I was at his place. And then in this Sundays, Monday evening, there was jazz at the Volbrecht, presented by Pim Jacobs.
Pim Jacobs, yes.
There was like the Sky Masters with international guests. So, and then Sunday evening, it was in a big cafe. So I saw Zoot Sims and Freddie Hubbard, and so Betty Carter, and he wrote all the arrangements for all those people. So I went to the rehearsals on Sunday evenings.
Yeah.
I remembered biking Freddie Hubbard back to the hotel, and he was on the back of my bike.
Yeah. Very Dutch. Yeah, and he Jerry Van Rooij, he was an amazing, very generous person, actually, very giving. When you sense some talent, he would really do everything. And by the way, he passed away quite some years ago, but his brother, Ak, who was a phenomenal trumpet player, still alive. He turned 90. He had this big 90th birthday celebration, tour concerts, and still plays like, it's unbelievable. It's so strong, and it's really great. So because Jerry originally also started out on trumpet before he became an arranger, right? Yeah, cool. So you grew up in Brussels. I was actually thinking to maybe show another video before we talk, and this is a project which you did with the Brussels Jazz Orchestra, singing the music of Jacques Brel, Jacques Brel, and Jacques Brel. Yeah, sorry for my French. Pardon my French.
There's this little thing when we were in Canada last year. I think it was so cold, and it's really treacherous because it was minus 25 or 30 degrees with a blue sky. So you think it's not cold. So people said, "Watch it for your ears and all that." So I remember that my ears and my head was so frozen that I thought I was in a cheese bowl or something. I suffered very much.
Yeah, it can be the winter.
That was the next day after. I remember how my ears were completely.
Man, the winters there can be really brutal in Canada. It's beautiful, but it's
Yes, what's so funny is that I stayed. We did a couple of concerts, and then I stayed a couple of days more. And it was carnival, but it's carnival with minus 25. You see, so the people in the street, like in Rio de Janeiro, but it's cold.
Oh, in winter clothes and in snow and
they dress, they drink a lot.
So
it's quite surreal,
Yeah, sometimes it can be. On the other hand, I celebrated a lot of Christmas in South Africa, and then you're barbecuing, and it's 35 degrees plus. Because it's the Southern Hemisphere, it's it's amazing sometimes. Yeah. So the Brussels Jazz Orchestra, this is also a very special orchestra for me because actually, I don't know if I ever told you, I was the first pianist of this orchestra. Yeah, and But then, you know, the distance traveling back and forth from Amsterdam for every rehearsal became a little bit too much, and I was busy with other stuff too. And it was founded by one of my closest friends, and we recorded a lot of albums together and played a lot and toured a lot. Frank Waganet, right? A wonderful alto player and a wonderful human being. So, you know, and this orchestra was always, yeah, hi Frank. I hope he's watching. I also want to invite him to this live stream and interview him, because he has also so many interesting things to say. But then you did you recorded an album with the Brussels Jazz Orchestra with the music of Jacques Brel.
Well, it started like that. They called me in 2006 to do a project with them. It was wonderful because I did some original compositions. From the music to the and then a standard or two, and that was changing faces. Then we did a different poetry and another best, like re-read with my Maria Joao. And that is where we started working with the BGO, where we took, normally they took arrangements for entire projects, you know, so we took arrangements per song. Changing Faces is each song a different arranger. And then for a different poetry and another best, we took 6 different arrangements for 12 songs or something. And then they called me and said, yeah, we should talk. So, okay. So, and then they asked me, yeah, we would like to do a Braille project with you. And I was like, So it's very interesting, because it's, when you're a European jazz singer, I think, I didn't have European examples when I was young. So I had to we had the American jazz singers, we had European female jazz singers, we had European musicians, but not male jazz singers. So we have to, at the same time, be original, very early on, compose, arrange, write, and then be on top of that vocally, and you have to know the tradition, but then also, and when you're original enough, then they start to invite you as an interpreter. So for me, it's a luxurious situation to be invited. For example, for the Brel project, I would never have done Brel myself.
No, but like this, then it all came,
I know one of the best big bands in the world. They have top arrangers, so I know I could put it to what I wanted to do and what they wanted to do with it. So I could come as a. Sometimes it's nice when you interpret a different project that you don't have to carry the project.
Yeah. That you just, I know the feeling. It's not, if you don't have this responsibility, it makes things sometimes much easier. You can, I know, I hear you.
You always have a responsibility. It's just because I'm not going to do something that's completely different from what I do. It's an extension of the expression that I do. It is a responsibility, but it's something that you can share. It's like my project that I'm doing with Guido Crystal for 25 years.
Yeah.
And lean on each other morally also, because it's so different what we, especially when we started out, that leaning on each other was like it gave me courage, you know, and it pushed me in continuing doing that and not trying to be a pale copy of or a sad copy of what is supposed to be American, what is supposed to be the American jazz.
But you know, I mean, you got such an original style anyway. Let me play this this recording. Let me show it, and this is actually recorded in ice cold Canada. So this David Linx with the Brussels Jazz Orchestra singing Mathilde by Jacques Brel. Who arranged it, by the way?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, here it comes.
Ma mère, voici le temps venu d'aller prier pour mon salut. Mathilde est revenue. Bougna, tu peux garder ton vin. Ce soir je boirai mon chagrin. Mathilde est revenue. Toi, la servante, toi, la Maria, faut peut-être de changer nos draps. La Mathilde qui est revenue. Oh, amis, ne me laissez pas. Ce soir je repars au combat. Maudite Mathilde, puisque tu flammes. Mon cœur ne t'emballe pas. C'est comme si tu ne savais pas que la Mathilde est revenue. Mon cœur arrête de répéter qu'elle est plus belle qu'avant l'été. La Mathilde qui est revenue. Oh, mon cœur arrête de brinque-baller. Souviens-toi qu'elle t'a déchiré. La Mathilde qui est revenue. Oh, mes amis, ne la laissez pas, non. Dites-moi qu'il ne faut pas. Maudite Mathilde, puisque je flamme.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. David Linx with the Brussels Jazz Orchestra in Canada. Beautiful arrangement by Mathilde, by Jacques Brel. Check it out. So, of course, I stopped it because there was so much to talk about and to see. But of course, you can follow David on all the digital platforms on YouTube. There's so much to see. And also you can like him on Facebook. He has a Facebook page. And by the way, if you like this stream and you're on Facebook, please share it. It reaches, because probably most of your friends are music lovers as well, or at least a couple. So it would be nice that it spreads out. So please share if you appreciate this live stream. David, I wanted, there's another thing which really is so interesting about, and that's your collaboration, your friendship with the amazing James Baldwin, the legendary James Baldwin, the American writer. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Oh, I remember I was in my father's room in the house, and my father was also a self-taught man. You know, he went to school only until he was 11. Then then he had to work and all that. And so he read a lot of different books. And I remember I was in his room one afternoon, and I was drawn to a book that was like a apple green book, and it was a black, glossy, shiny profile, and that was the profile of James Baldwin. So I was attracted by that book, and I think it was Go Tell It on the Mountain in Dutch, a Dutch translation, De Bezige Bij.
De Bezige Bij, yeah. No.
So I started reading all his book, and I started in school. I was interested. I was also traveling a lot with Nathan Davis, who was my godfather. My second name is Nathan, you know. So Nathan Davis came by the house a lot. So he said, "Yeah, I know James Baldwin." So I was fascinated by. There's only so much I could understand when I was 10 or 11, but I was fascinated about what something connected really deeply. And then I started doing works in school on James Baldwin, on Medgar Evers, on Stokely Carmichael, on all those big people from the civil rights movement. You know, because we basically the people know Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, but they don't know Medgar Evers really, Stokely Carmichael, a lot of them. And so I wrote him some letters that we basically found when we emptied the house. I mean, after he passed away years later. And so I read those books, and then I was in Amsterdam years later. So I already had gone to Hilversum also, or not yet, I don't know. But James Baldwin gave a speech I was playing in the alto in Amsterdam or something. I was playing drums.
Yeah.
There was a Suriname bass player, and he said, "James Baldwin is giving a lecture tomorrow. Do you know him?" I said, "What?"
Surinamese bass, a tall bass player, maybe. Do you remember Pablo Nahar, or
maybe Pablo Nahar?
Could
so
be,
and the next day I went to the Melkweg, and then what is the name of the hall there?
The Milky Way, the Melkweg.
The Melkweg. So there was So there was a lot of people. It was sold out. So he was supposed to give a conference, and it happened a lot when I lived with him later too. We missed planes all the time. So he went home until the next day. So he missed the plane. So some people left. So I had a ticket. So he came late, and I was amazed because I knew his face, but I didn't know he was so small. And he was late. When I lived with Kenny Clark, who was a good friend, Kenny Clark amazingly let Baldwin in the jazz clubs in Harlem when Baldwin was underage, and I didn't know the connection they had. So it was strange that I was living with Kenny Clark, and they had the same height. And so after that, I could not get close to him because there were a lot of people. So I knew where the press conference was in the building of the Bezige Bay. I remember I ran because I was sweating. I remember I was breathless when I arrived, because the press conference was over, and he was sitting in the leather L couch, big leather, with his brother David Baldwin. So, and I collapsed in between them. So he looked up and said, "Who are you?" And so we went to the next conference. Then we went to dinner with David Baldwin. With him, it was wonderful. And Rufus Collins was there too, and he was an actor and a director in the Living Theater.
Yeah.
He did a star here. And then he gave me his number, or I think in the south of France, Saint-Paul-de-Vence. And I didn't call him for a year, I think. But I called him, I mean, that's crazy when you're young. I called him a year later. I don't think he even remembered who I was. Maybe not. So I went there, and I went there with 2 suitcases. That's insane. So I took a train to Nice. I took a bus to Saint-Paul-de-Vence. Then I looked for the house.
But he invited you to visit him, or
No, that is what you do in the moment when you eat together with someone. But
Yeah, true. Yeah, you just went. You just went on. You just went.
I called them 2 days before, and I
Yeah,
took
yeah,
a train from
yeah,
Brussels to Nice. I mean, that's crazy.
yeah,
So and
yeah.
so I took a night train because it was 12 hours back then, and then I took a bus. So I left Brussels the evening before, and then I came in time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon for lunch. So and basically I had a room till he passed away there. And
Wow,
then
it's incredible.
one of the times I came over there, I was in the house. We were sitting downstairs because there were several floors. It was an amazing house from 19th century, with like 20 rooms. And it was like a very old French house. And we were sitting in the latter part where his study was, where he worked. And I remember you can hear the crickets, and I was trying to drink a little bit like him, whiskey. I couldn't drink. I was under the table after 2 or 3.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But it was magic for me because that was the man who wrote the books that changed my life. And when I came into his study, I still remember the smell of the carpet, the smell of wood because there was a fireplace, the smell of maybe the dried cigarettes or whiskey. It was a wonderful, sweet smell, wonderful. I remember we listened to Robert Johnson. And then when that was over, I remember I was a little drunk. I said, let's make a record. And he said, yes, let's make a record.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then started singing, precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I'm worn. At night, and then I said, and you will sing that on the record too. Yes, yeah. So the next day, maybe he had forgotten that I was, because I was very persistent.
Yeah.
I still am. I
That's
think.
your. Yeah. I've known you for a while. Yeah.
So,
but that's
he
great. That's great.
forgot it.
Yeah.
So and the next day, about noon or something. So we chose the poems together, and
Yeah.
then I was already in Belgium working with Pierre van Dormaal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did the music with him. I was always already working with Diederik. Is the one that I worked the longest with.
Yeah.
The longest with. I had the trio as a drummer with Diederik Whistles.
Let's get to Diederik later because I would love to show something of the Baldwin.
Yeah, but I have to finish on the Baldwin thing.
All right. Yeah.
I have to finish that because otherwise it's a mess. But everything is connected. That's why.
Okay.
I go,
Okay. Carry on.
because Diederik is also in the Baldwin project. He plays in the Baldwin project. And then we did that, and then we recorded with Pierre, and Baldwin did the voices in Brussels, but we recorded also with Steve Coleman and Slide Hampton, and Steve Coleman, Slide Hampton, Jimmy Owens, Bob Stewart in New York, and then there was Toots Stielemans, like 50 musicians or something.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. That was quite an amazing, because that is something I wanted to meet him since I was 10 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like an icon. And how long did you end up living at that house?
Oh, not so long, because he passed away when I was 22. I finished the record with him in 80s. I remember we listened to the mixes because it was, we recorded in 86 and we finished mixing September 87. And I was in St. Paul, and then I was going to play the record for him, the mix, because David Baldwin was there too. And I remember the day because it was the same day that the world was waiting for the new clip of Michael Jackson, Bad. It was sensational back then.
Yeah.
Waiting for the
Yeah.
So we listened first to the record we did. I think he was very happy. And then he always asked me what did David think. David Baldwin, his brother, because that was like his.
Yeah.
And then we watched the Bad clip.
Well, Michael Jackson, which you became, okay. Yeah, but you spend a fair amount of time there. I mean, it's an amazing experience. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, of course, to be surrounded by such a genius.
You don't go to school; you choose your mentors.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah.
I tell young people, don't go to school for what you think school is. School is not a shelter. You can go to school with a self-taught attitude.
Yeah.
As long as you know who you're going to study.
Yes.
Back then we had very few jazz schools.
Yeah.
You had some in Holland, Hilversum, Muziekpedagogische Academie. That is all you basically had back then.
Yeah.
Everybody, people who have money went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
I didn't go to
Now we all
Berkeley.
had to figure it out ourselves. We were, and
Yes.
yeah. But
So,
yeah, yeah,
so going to live with Kenny Clark and going to live with James Baldwin were like it was like going to school. But
yeah,
I chose. I felt that they would maybe not sing us, but I knew that they were going to make me sing.
yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful story. What I can do, of course, I can play. You send me it's a recording. I can play a couple of minutes of this track which you recorded with Baldwin. Can you please explain a little bit about this track?
They're like two slots of poems in the record. There's like a Lover's Question Part 1, Part 2. And then we did a song that I wrote with Pierre Van Dormaal. I did all the choir with Deborah Brown singing. And the
Yeah.
second part is Inventory on Being 52, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3.
Yeah, let me play that. Let me play that one. Yeah,
This is Part 2. I play the drums here, and I speak a little bit with Baldwin once in a while. And it's a Pierre Van Dormaal, Michel Hassi Giorgio, and it's a dialogue between James Baldwin and Steve Coleman.
yeah. Okay, here it comes.
That is 35 years ago.
35 years ago. Yeah, yeah. But this you can all watch this on YouTube, right? Listen to it on YouTube. It's
Bye. You can
wow,
still.
impressive, James Baldwin. Wow, yeah. So another thing I would like to ask you, Dave, I would like to ask you two things. Actually, you won quite some awards, and I even think that one of the awards was the reason you moved to France. Is that correct?
Well, France, a lot of people don't know that. Even French people know. It's the first jazz country in the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fest-
Yeah.
Festivals, business, record. A lot of American people who win Grammys, for example, in the jazz Grammys, are basically signed in France, or were basically signed in France. France, Shirley Horn, Abbey Lincoln, Stan Getz, Kenny Barron, they were all a Universal
Yeah.
program back then. So when Diederik and I, we started working together as a singer. I switched from drummer to singer with him in '88, and it was wonderful because I felt we had something very special. I mean,
Yeah.
with Diederik, I talk a lot, but Diederik doesn't speak that much, you know. But I knew
Yeah.
we felt.
Yeah. Yeah, he's modest and yeah.
We think very special, and so Paris is a little bit like New York, you know. It's extremely important city. So suddenly one of our records became like this hit record in France. I mean, we made it with. We didn't have a record company at that point. I didn't have a record company at that point either because I was with Universal before Polygram, and then so Dan Laxman, a wonderful sound engineer in Brussels, he built a new studio, and he gave us a studio for 3 days to test the studio basically also. He wanted to do production, but also, you know, so he can try out a new studio. And so we made that record. It was called Up Close. And what was amazing is that we finally found a record company in France, and they released it. I think we sold 2 records a month, or maybe, I don't know. So, and then suddenly 6 months later, bam!
And then it started. Yeah.
One day to another, we started doing all these big festivals.
Yeah.
And it was really crazy because that record, it's rare that you can benefit from a kind of unanimity. That bebop people loved it, free jazz people loved it, pop people loved it. So it was very extreme people who would never talk to each other loved that record. So it was amazing, and also maybe because there were not really European male jazz singers. I was basically the first one to get that place. So I benefited from that too.
Yeah.
Someone who was not trying to. I mean, I have a double school, American school, European school. Diederik also. We know all the standards.
Yeah.
You can't do that kind of music if you don't know the standards.
Yeah.
But you will not hear it. Only people who really know jazz can hear it.
Yeah. Yeah,
When,
but yeah,
when
and yeah, and it's unique. It's a really a unique sound. Something very with its very own identity. That's how I maybe should put it. It's
Didrik and
beautiful.
I,
Yeah,
before playing together, even in the early '80s, he was playing he was when he was 14. He had this guy. He was like the local Gil Evans
yeah. He's originally from the Netherlands, but he moved to Belgium when he was very young, I think.
he
If I'm
moved to
not mis-
Luxembourg first, and then he
Yeah,
started.
yeah. So let me play a part of this. Show you a video with you and David. Sorry, you and Diederik. Um,
Oh
okay.
yeah, it was. We did a video because the record started working so good. So
Yeah.
suddenly we had to shoot a video. So, but and that was with the people who also worked with the Deus, the Belgian band.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so they went to. I drove a car.
Yeah.
I had a driver's license. I was a,
Fantastic. Yeah.
I,
It's very nice. I'll show it. It's
and the record company told the police that we were shooting a video, but they never told them I didn't have a driver's license. And then the video crew took me to this one of these big shopping malls to try to put me in some. I have an Adidas vest. It was kind of a crazy shoot.
wow, fantastic. And this was which year?
1996.
96. Okay. Here it comes. David Linx and Diederik Wissels. David Linx with the great Diederik Wissels. How many albums have you recorded together?
Over 10 albums.
Yeah, beautiful, wonderful. Yeah, there's so much to tell, you know, because I mean, you've worked with like world class, like the top of the world, with Toots, with Gonzalo Rubalcaba. You recently also did like a duet with Gregory Porter.
Yes.
You know, David Linx, my guest, he's such an incredible vocalist and human being. We've been knowing each other for a long time. Although we weren't in touch a lot, we were kind of following each other since we met. And then there was this award in Rotterdam, I think 4 or 5 years ago. Also with the Brussels, that was the Brel, with the Brussels Jazz Orchestra. We got an award, and then we met, and we had a great evening, and then we said, now it's the time to do something. And then we recorded an album together for Challenge Records, entitled From One Language to Another. I'm going to end this, I don't know now, I don't know if, David, if there other stuff you would like to share with us, would you like to sing, or there's so much to tell. You're teaching also now at the Brussels Conservatory. There's so much to tell, but I can also play the clip and
What clip? Oh yeah, okay.
yeah, the video we just recorded. I mean, one of for our album. That's what I want to end with. But you know, there's so much to share. But
We've been talking for a long time already.
yeah, like 50 minutes. So yeah, so David Linx, phenomenal singer, composer, musician, plays piano, plays drums, very versatile. Please check him out on all the channels. I still hope we'll get a chance to also promote our album live by concerts. So I'm going to end this broadcast with a video of one of the songs. This is actually an original composition by the great Dutch flute player, Hammond player from the rock band Focus, Thijs van Leer. And David wrote the lyrics on it. The original song is called Le Tango. And
Le Tango.
Le Tango. And, oui, pardon. And, excusez-moi. And then David wrote the lyrics to this, and we recorded it. So please check it out. The album is entitled From One Language to Another. David, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing, for being here. And, yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, and again, for those of you, I'll be streaming on Monday. I'll do a solo piano session. Next Wednesday, I'm going to have a guest. I'll announce it in the next days. A fantastic guest from Brazil. And again, if you like this live stream and you're on Facebook, please share. You can follow me on all the social media channels. If you would like to make a donation, let me show you here in the upper corner. Here it is. You can always do a donation to PayPal, zero obligation. And of course, if you refer to this particular live stream with David Linx, then I'll make sure that this is going to be equally shared among us. So thank you so much. Here is Tackle and Dabble from our album David Linx with Mike Del Ferro Trio. Tackle and Dabble, From One Language to Another.
Daily show now in full display, with claims so false tonight, today. The wildest lies spoken in wildest ways, repeatedly giving truth a new phrase, as to astonish truth itself. Books left untouched up there on the shelf, I gather dust, I do. We delve in matters related to every heart. Where do we start to then include ourselves? To find the strength in what compels you to go on, and so we will make up to tackle the very best minds of our time, who always question what's behind each rhyme. That we dabble, Babylon, losing our sense of eloquence. To the past we tackle and dabble. Yeah! As sun and trolls are rarely dead when lives are crossed by songs unsung. And now our dread's ready to hit the plan. Evil comes when the righteous path is in. Then under rocks and stones, so dance like you never danced before. We will play 3 longest play until this tango will have us sweep every foot with a bigger new. Trample the dirt right to the core of what's to come. We move ahead, and so we will make up to tackle the very best minds of our time, who always question what's behind each rhyme. And we dabble, Babylon, losing our sense of eloquence. To the past we tackle and dabble. Yeah! Sun and trolls are rarely dead when lives are crossed or songs unsung. And now our dread's ready to hit the brain. Evil comes when the righteous path is free. Then under rocks and stones, so dance like you never danced before. We will play 3 longest play. This tango will have us sweep every foot with a big girl who will trample the dirt right to the core of what's to come. We move ahead, and so we will make up to tackle the very best minds of our time, who always question what's behind each rhyme. That we dabble, Babylon, losing our sense of eloquence. To the past we tackle and dabble.
So once again, this video, Tackle and Dabble, original song Le Tango by Thijs van Leer, lyrics by David Linx, with my trio, our album From One Language to Another. David sings in 5 languages on several songs, and it's, yeah, please check it out on all the digital platforms. So again, I want to thank you for watching, thank you for listening. I'll be back on Monday at 10 o'clock with a solo piano session. Please stay safe, stay healthy. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Good night. And thanks again, of course, to the wonderful David Linx. Good night.